We, the people, despite the reassurances of the powers that be, have come to the painful realization that our situation just got real. I mean, when the government that diligently collects taxes from the common man needs to look upon society to contribute a further 2% of their already meager incomes out of a sense of duty and patriotism to aid drought relief, you must know there are dark days ahead. Duh.
There is a need for the state to step up its revenue collection or its taxable income or its expenditure to satisfy the needs of the people, of the citizens. We will do that. That's why I said we are not begging to get off the hook. We believe that there is a responsibility at individual basis to embrace and assist the nation to get out of this calamity. If that doesn't work, all the other options are on the table, and we will use them to make sure that our policy, that no one dies of hunger, that we will survive this drought in the best possible way without harming the economy too much. These options, these policy objectives will remain, and we will use whatever is legally available to do that.
I spoke to the Institute of Public Policy Research's Executive Director, Graham Hopwood, about government's proposal to request a 2% drought levy from the people.
Yeah, obviously the drought situation is very serious and it requires a response from government and, if possible, from citizens who can help. But the way government's gone about this suggests that they don't actually understand the financial difficulties that most people have been going through, especially since 2015. So, the economy has been in recession now for 2 years. So does government not realize that people are actually struggling to pay their bills, not really in a position to pay more tax? At least that's the situation for many people, I think. And do they not even remember what happened when they talked about the solidarity tax 2 years ago? And that was also essentially shouted down because people said, we can't cope with this. We can't cope anymore. And so the way government goes about this, in the sort of ad hoc way this was raised, first in State of the Nation suggesting it was just for public office bearers, even though there'd been no consultation with the opposition, for example. And now to broaden it, but to suggest it's voluntary, but not to sort of say how that will work, whether they want employers voluntarily to deduct from their employees an extra 2%, or so it's just a sort of a sort of sign of complacency in government and a lack of communication to get this across. But I think if government feels it's got a strong case here to say to people, you have to help us a bit more to deal with the drought, then they need to, if you like, sugar the pill a little bit by showing that they are also willing to make cutbacks. And that, as has been suggested, needs to be a reduction in the size of cabinet, all these special advisors we have, the super large parliament we've had since the 2014 constitutional changes. There needs to be a commitment to cut back right at the top. And then I think people would perhaps be more understanding of this kind of suggestion. You also have to note that neither the President nor the First Lady pay any income tax. According to the law, they're exempt. And we've argued before that this clause in the law needs to be done away with, because there's really very few examples in the world where heads of state are completely exempt from income tax. So there's no good reason for it, really. I think the time has come now with the fiscal situation to just remove that clause.
A proposal by government for Namibians to contribute 2% of their salaries to aid drought relief has been met with some skepticism. We took to the streets to gauge public sentiment on this proposed donation to government.
This 2%, if government really wants 2%, let's get it from these big institutions. We've got pension funds that are deducting money every month from our people, and we're not getting benefits. We've got insurance companies that are deducting people, and we're not receiving benefits.
This is Namibia. Look How did Mr. Sem Nujoma or Dr. President Sem Nujoma lead the country? The country was full. Then he drank it. He drank the country like this.
It's not fair that the government would ask people to pay their 2% when they already don't have enough anyways, because they're making it feel like it's voluntary, that saying it's voluntary, but it's not really voluntary, like it's a must for them to do it. So for me, I feel it's not fair for the government to do that at all. Right. If you're saying it's voluntary, then make it voluntary. Make it for those that want to do it. That's my point.
He drink in Namibia again. Dr. Then he left for Mr. Hage.
I really think the 2% voluntary contribution is very necessary given the situation that we're in right now. So I think why not? If we can lend a helping hand and say what can we do for ourselves and not what the government can do for us, it's a very good suggestion.
So if they want 2%, go get it from your comrades that you gave tenders. Go get it from the mines that you have given 100% ownerships. Go get it from those institutions. But don't take it from our poor people that you're already taking enough from.
I feel it's a worthwhile effort. It's drastic times, and drastic times call for drastic measures. However, I would feel comfortable participating in this effort if it's treated 100% transparently and if the promises made are fulfilled in doing so.
I'm telling you, Omake didn't find anything in the glass of Namibia. Then Omake came. Still, Omake is doing.
Because you might as well then just raise the taxes. It's as simple as that. We could, the other day we donated food to Mozambique. Now we're saying we don't have food of our own. No, how foolish can we be? You don't have food, but you're giving your food away for the neighbor, just to impress the society or the world. Let us not be doing these things. You first take care of your own before you can take care of the others. If we have surplus, yes, we can give, but clearly we have no surplus. So we should not even be engaging in these things at all.
President Hage Geingob appealed to the international community to come to Namibia's aid, and US aid recently pledged some 1.4 million Namibian dollars to assist the Red Cross in getting much needed supplies to the needy. Because for a moment there I was left wondering, like, where do you buy rain? Who do you pay to reverse the effects of human-induced climate change? I put this to the Institute for Public Policy Research's Executive Director, Graham Hopwood.
There's a bigger point here, which is that we're an arid or a semi-arid country. Plus, we know that climate change is severely affecting us. So government has to plan really for the fact that for much of the time we are going to be drought affected, and to make sure there is money put aside for these kinds of events. But I do understand that this drought looks like it might be the worst since independence. So it may be that government feels an extra response is necessary. And no, there definitely is a need for money. Food aid going out. The crops have almost completely failed across much of the north. So there will be a need for food aid. There'll be a need to support farmers to try and stop their farming activities completely going effectively bankrupt, whether they're in the communal areas or the commercial areas. So there will be a number of things that government has to do fairly quickly to try and mitigate the effects of the drought. So there's no doubt there is a need, and if government hasn't got that within its current finances, then that's why they want to look for extra money. But doing it in an ad hoc way that upsets people and makes people feel government is insensitive to their plight, isn't really helpful. As I say, maybe getting people together across different sectors of society to create a fund which people could donate to on a suggested donation pattern. If you feel you can give 2%, then give 2%. But if you feel you can give 1%, give 1%. And then it's also clearly managed, we know what the money is being used for, and the results can be clearly reported as well.
Forex trader turned political activist Michael Amushelelo decided to confront a couple that he deemed to be treating their workers in a less than humane fashion after he found that a man and a woman and a young baby had spent the night on the back of their employee's car, whilst he and his partner enjoyed the comfort of a room at an accommodation establishment in the south last weekend. He posted these videos to social media.
Guys, so I'm in Keetmanshoop. So the owner of this vehicle, number plates 66266 Keetmans, has passengers. So he allowed the people to sleep here at the back while he got himself a room. Now I'm no racist, never been, but I know when wrong is wrong and when something is right, and this absolutely here is wrong. There's no way you can allow people to sleep behind the back of a car while you book yourself a nice room, sleep in comfort, while your employees, or I don't know what they are, they sleep in the back of a car. I don't know who the owner is. Maybe he's black, maybe he's white, but I'm gonna wait for him and I'm gonna confront him for this shit.
Morning, sir. Morning. Why are you allowing your workers to sleep behind the car?
Ons praat Afrikaans asseblief.
No,
I
don't
speak
tell me
English.
you don't speak Afrikaans or whatever the case is. My question is, why are your employees sleeping behind the car while the two of you sleep in luxury?
Because
Because what?
he should come today.
No, it's not he should come today.
Yeah.
This is absolute nonsense.
I spoke to him about what went down there.
Upon waking up, because I went to go check upon my friend who was in the next room, I then saw a blanket behind the car. And then I saw a gentleman peep his face out of the blanket, and I asked him, did you sleep here? And he responded, yes, I slept here. And I'm like, why? Where's your boss? And then he shows me the room where his boss is sleeping. So I'm like, so you mean to tell me you slept here in the cold and your boss booked himself a room? Now, immediately that for me is wrong. There is no way you allow people to sleep in the back of a car while you book yourself a nice room. Now, what pisses me off is that this guy can afford to buy animal feed because his car was full of animal feed. And that's where the people were sleeping on top of that animal feed. So there's absolute no comfort, number one. Number two, where are those people's dignity? Because if they need to use the toilet, where are they going to use the toilet? If they need, nature needs to call, where are they going to use it? So this guy needs to tell me, or this employee needs to tell me that he could not afford to take out $400 to pay an extra room for his employees so that they can also just decently sleep like he slept. So I then made a first video where I took the number plates and where I was saying I was gonna confront your boss when he comes out, and then I also interviewed the worker to say, so what's happening here? So did you guys really sleep here, and what's the situation? So I was gonna let it slide. I was not gonna do the whole confrontation thing until I realized that these people were with a baby, a 3-month-old baby. So immediately that pissed me off, because that child could have gotten sick or she could have died from the cold, because it was very cold in the south. So from there onwards I said, you know what, whatever comes, comes. I don't care.
I was unable to get a hold of the couple to get their side of the story, and I do hope they come forward to tell it. Meanwhile, I asked Michael what he felt compelled to do following this incident.
Well, first of all, I felt compelled to send out that video. The reason why I sent that video out is that I needed to give our people courage to say that yes, you can confront what is deemed white supremacy. Because there are a lot of white folks out there who still feel they are superior to their black people. So that for me is one thing that we first need to deal with. The other issue that we still need to deal with is institutionalized racism. It's still an ongoing thing that we need to be dealt with. You know, we always say yes, independence we have, freedom we have, but these things still continue up until today. Because for me, these things is just words that we throw around. But are we truly as free as we speak to say we are free? I doubt.
Daughter of the soil, actress, singer, writer, the list goes on, Zenobia Kloppers landed one of the lead roles in the acclaimed film Fiela, a character made famous by South African writer Deline Metier, set in the 1800s in the forests of Knysna. We video chatted this week.
I think Fiela speaks to everyone because she's this powerful, strong woman who, I mean, in those days, if you really think about it, 1800s, here's a woman of color owning land, which was obviously quite rare, I think. And she's got, kids, and she's got this little white boy that she's raising as her own. And he is her own child, as in her eyes. And I think it took an incredible amount of courage for her to stand up to the powers that be as a woman of color and say to them, you know what, it's my child and I'm going to fight for him. So for me, that whole thing of having courage in the face of so much adversity, that's quite an important thing for me about this character, and that really spoke to me, or speaks to me still. So we filmed last year, actually. We filmed for about 6 weeks, and towards the end of the year. In terms of the experience of it, there are no words to actually explain that experience. I think everyone on set, the entire cast and crew, were just the most incredible people, open-hearted, filled with light, beautiful, beautiful people to work with. Everyone cares so deeply about the story because it's such an important story to tell. I mean, it's an iconic character, it's an iconic story. We all did it at school. Deline Metier is like, hello, that's Deline Metier. So, and everyone treated it with respect. Those sets that you saw, I'm not going to give too much away, but those sets were specially built for this film. Everything was just absolutely done uniquely and from scratch and from the heart. It will be screening from the 13th of September. It will be opening up nationally in South Africa. I'm not sure when it's opening in Windhoek yet or in Namibia. We'll keep you posted of any other developments in terms of that.
Namibia's creatives are truly showing their mettle, and tomorrow night you can catch some of our finest in action at the theatre school with the premiere of The Date, written, produced and directed by Mikiros Garoes. Let's check out the trailer.
Why are single people always so wise about relationships?
Well, no time for partners means more time to think about what to do, but most importantly, what not to do.
So, what do you do? Oh wait, you're a presenter, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Entertainment presenter.
Yes.
Resident Skinnerbeck. Waiter, can I have 2 shots of vodka when you see I'm done with this glass? Thank you.
But you're acting crazy. And not the Q crazy, but the Kanye crazy.
Everybody fuck. So The Date is a short romantic comedy, a little bit more comedy than it is romance. And it was directed by yours truly. I directed, wrote it, funded it, and produced it. And how we made it happen, family, friends. Well, personally, I started saving for it about last year. So it's one of those things you kind of have to do it yourself. And I saved up and literally had uncles, aunts, Whoever is willing to gooi me some cash, please. And we shot at an old location, very, very classic Windhoek little spot with traditional food. The owner, also a family friend, allowed us to literally, he closed the place down on Easter weekend after the customers left and let us have the restaurant for the whole night. So I just reached out to a lot of people, had to do a little begging, a little groveling, but that's okay. It all came together in the end. So yeah, and the actors, the people involved are all people that I've worked with over the last couple of months in Windhoek, people I know around from the warehouse, social life. Main actors, Hazel Hinda, super funny woman. Like, I don't know how many people know the classic American show I Love Lucy. Lucille Ball, classic American comedian. She is our Lucille Ball. If you don't know her, look it up. Hazel is literally our Lucille Ball. And she did her thing. Really, really funny lady. And then other actors, Lavinia Kapewasha, who's also a writer-director. She just had a movie, Itandu, like a post-apocalyptic kind of super dope. Yes, she's also one of the leading actors. And then we have a new up-and-coming young Namibian actor, 26 years old, super, super talented. So yeah, so I got them on board. They did it for super cheap. I started producing it maybe 2 months before, started reaching out to people, putting it out there, seeing, who's down. And mainly it was family members. I literally got family members from Dolam, Groot Oop. It's all those people that are like, yeah, you do film. Put me in your film, man. Put your money where your mouth is. So I was like, come Jelle, come. So had like one of my little Damara nieces as my assistant, as the production assistants, catering, had Ndeshi Akwenye. And it was a very intense shoot. Namibians, not all of us are used to the whole extra thing. It really took from like 9 until like 4 or 5 in the morning. So right now we're having the first premiere, the first viewing this Saturday at 7 o'clock at the College of the Arts Theatre, just at the corner of like Windhoek High and Bank of Namibia. This Saturday, the 1st at 7 p.m. is when we'll have the first grand premiere. And so far the response has been good, so we're probably gonna have a second screening. We'll let all of you guys know about that. $50. Make it affordable for everyone. I want young people to come see it. I want students to come and see it. Duration is about 17 minutes, just under 20 minutes. So it's literally in and out. Bringing the young and the old all together to see hopefully new, modern Namibian cinema. Just come out and see it, guys. Kom Jelenet.
These dark economic times have really got our people going through the most. In Swakopmund recently, a man allegedly tried to commit suicide by jumping off the jetty at a restaurant at the sleepy coastal town. The restaurant manager, one Hardus Saayman, apparently dove into the icy waters of the Atlantic Ocean to rescue him. These are the images that were uploaded to social media.
Sal ons op pad, hou vas. Yes. Go.
Man is swart.
Hardus. Hardus, kyk vir my, is jy okay? Is jy alright? Okay.
Hardus truly is a hero. Be a hero to those around you and stay woke with It's a Wrap by following us on Instagram and Facebook and get personal notifications of the content we put up right on your device by subscribing to our YouTube channel. It's a Wrap Namibia.